put a bid in on the casino because he had the owner of Caesar's Palace, and then he had an ex-federal informant and Montage down there trying to put a bid on a casino to bring it to Broadway.
Today, Wednesday, a state board rejected the Times Square casino bid from Jay-Z in Roc Nation and those companies that I mentioned.
The future is not something you wait for, it's something you build. It lives in the hands of the doers, the dreamers, the people who refuse to stand still.
And there's a theme in Queens, and I know Nas is a part of this. Queens get the money. Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again. I just had to rub that.
Jay-Z is fuming right now. And honestly, who wouldn't be? Imagine putting your name, your legacy, and your billion-dollar reputation on the line for a glitzy Times Square casino, only for the city to slam the brakes before it even got started. Then, just days later, Nas, yes, that Nas, the man who dropped Ether and left Jay's ego in ashes, gets full approval for his own $5 billion Queens casino project. The timing? Way too slick to be coincidence. And to twist the knife even deeper, Queens Borough President Donovan Richards didn't mince words.
And there's a theme in Queens, and I know Nas is a part of this. Queens get the money. Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again. I just had to rub that in.
I'm still thinking about Jay-Z and Nas both being part of bids to get casinos in New York City. Do you know how big that is? Drop on the clues bombs.
That is amazing. That's really great.
I don't think people understand because they so rich and they be doing so much stuff. I don't think people get it.
Like, they both submitted requests for proposals for something like that on the same, well, everybody had to do it on the same day, but that's the architect of Reasonable Doubt and Illmatic, and they're both part of bids to get casinos in their hometowns in New York City.
Think about it. They both came from the hood.
That's
Nas from Queensbridge and Jay from Marcy, and
come on, man.
What they did with their music catalogs and how they turned it to big business with investments. Nas with Uber and Ring, and
who dating who is cute and who getting tattoos who is cute, but god dang,
the liquor brands, Roc Nation,
all of it is nice
management.
though, all of it. And this is great.
And where they are now
in
in life.
It's going to be real great, even greater for New York.
He looked straight at the cameras and said, "Cue the money. Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again." Savage. That wasn't just shade. That was a full-blown victory lap right in Jay's face. And the internet, oh, they're feasting. Fans are connecting dots like detectives, saying, this ain't business, this is personal. You can feel the tension because it's giving Major Takeover versus Ether vibes all over again. History's spinning the block, and it's looking like Nas just played the longest game ever, and won. Here's what actually went down. Jay-Z was pitching a monster partnership with Caesar's Palace, a billion-dollar Times Square casino designed to turn Broadway into a Vegas-style playground. He hyped it like the next cultural landmark, the crown jewel of New York, with Jay-Z glowing in lights above the city that made him. But the streets weren't buying it. The Broadway League called it a disruption. Locals protested. Even the advisory committee dropped a flat-out no. Just like that, Jay's billion-dollar empire went up in smoke. And let's be real, Jay-Z does not handle public losses well. His whole brand is built on power moves, on never losing in front of the cameras. So, to get shut down like this, and then watch Nas of all people get the win, that's humiliation on a platinum level. That a crack in the mogul image is protected for decades. Because this wasn't just about a casino. Jay wanted Manhattan. The lights, the prestige, the bragging rights. He wanted to own the skyline, to stamp his name across Times Square like a modern-day empire builder. But instead, the city locked him out, and a few days later, Nas walked right through the door with Queens. The timing couldn't have been colder. This wasn't just rejection, it was poetic revenge. And if there's one thing everybody knows about Hov, he never forgets a loss.
Their decision, as they obviously voted against the casino.
You know it. We met the standard and then some, and the only one with courage to stand up is the governor and the mayor appointees, and everybody else runs.
Ever. He might be silent right now, but don't get it twisted. Jay's plotting. And this one's personal. While his flashy Times Square dream went down in flames, Nas was out here stacking quiet wins like a chess master. He played it smart. No noise, no headlines, just strategy. Instead of chasing Manhattan's glitter, he doubled down on Queens. And now, it's official. Queens Resorts World at Aqueduct, backed by Nas himself, just got the green light. And this isn't some side hustle. This is a monster. A $5 billion project that's about to turn Queens into its own mini Vegas. We're talking full-blown live tables, blackjack, poker, craps, the whole casino fantasy come to life. But here's the wild part. That's just the beginning. They are building a concert arena, luxury lounges, even a sports academy co-signed by NBA legend Kenny the Jet Smith. Like, be serious. This isn't just a casino. This is an empire. And the best part? Nas isn't just lending his name. He's got real equity. He's been hands-on, shaping the whole vision from the ground up. When he spoke on it,
The future is not something you wait for, it's something you build. It lives in the hands of the doers, the dreamers, the people who refuse to stand still. Resorts World is more than a casino. It's energy, it's opportunity, it's hope for the borough. A second chance for some, a first step for many. It's where community gathers, not just to win, but to build a future once imagined. This isn't just business, this is legacy. And now it's time to invest in us. Because the future doesn't ask for permission, it moves with purpose. From our chairman to our newest employee, we're committed to Queens. And in Queens, the future is now.
you could tell it came from the heart. He said this project is for the community, for the jobs, the growth, and the pride that Queens deserves. This isn't Nas chasing a bag. This is Nas building a legacy, right where it all began. Then Nas sealed it with that signature confidence, loud, calm, and calculated, saying, "With this project, the world is ours." Tell me that's not a power play. The timing alone makes it ruthless. Jay gets denied in Manhattan, and right after that, Nas pulls up like a hometown hero and locks down Queens. Fans are eating it up online, clowning Jay left and right, saying Nas just ethered him again, only this time with business receipts. You really can't make this up. Yeah, on paper, it's two rap legends turned moguls chasing billion-dollar dreams. But when you line it up back-to-back, it cuts way deeper for Jay. This isn't just losing a casino bid. This is losing to Nas. That's a shot straight to his pride. Jay built his entire identity on being Brooklyn's ultimate hustler, the master project kid who turned himself into hip-hop's first billionaire. From Rockefeller to Rock Nation, Jay's always been the chess master, the guy who stays 10 steps ahead. But here's the twist. Nas doesn't chase the spotlight. He becomes a moment. Every time Jay starts feeling untouchable, Nas slides in like a quiet storm and flips the whole board. He's been doing it since day one. Remember when Jay tried to bury Nas with Takeover? Called him washed, irrelevant, said his run was over. And then Nas came back with Ether, one of the most lethal diss tracks in hip-hop history. That wasn't just a clapback, it was a cultural earthquake. He humbled an entire empire and reminded everyone who really held the crown. Fans still remember that burn. You got people looking at you crazy, making your soul burn slow. Back then, even industry heads were calling it. Who won that one? Someone asked. Nas. Easy, they said without hesitation. It was so decisive. The word ether became its own verb. Like, he got ethered. Jay had to rebuild from that. He left Rockefeller, shifted to Definite Jam, reinvented himself as a mogul. But now, this casino saga feels like deja vu. Jay sets up a flashy Times Square empire, thinking it's his next billion-dollar flex, and boom, denied before takeoff. Then comes Nas, cool and composed, representing Queens, the underdog borough, and walks away with the biggest win of the year. But to really get why this moment hit so deep, you got to rewind the story. Before the diss tracks, before the business wars, it started with something small, something personal. Back in the mid-90s, Nas was already crowned New York's golden child. When Illmatic dropped in '94, he became that guy, raw, poetic, untouchable. Meanwhile, Jay was still trying to carve out his lane. He dropped Reasonable Doubt in '96, now a classic. But back then, it barely made noise. That's when the tension quietly started building. Jay reached out, asking Nas to appear in his video for Dead Presidents, trying to bridge the gap between the new king and the next. But Nas never showed. So Jay did what Jay does. He moved anyway. He sampled Nas's voice for the hook without permission. No heads up, no call, just straight audacity. And trust, Nas did not forget that move. It was a spark that lit one of the most legendary rivalries hip-hop has ever seen. From that moment on, the energy between them completely shifted. Jay was out here chasing the spotlight, while Nas treated him like a rookie trying to play in a veteran's lane. That quiet tension never faded. It simmered, waiting to explode. And let's be real, we've seen the pattern. Jay's always been the one trying to one-up Nas, in business, in lyrics, in legacy.
Of how you made this beat. I was at one of those conventions, like a How Can I Be Down or something like that, and I think Nas' album had came out, and every car that was driving by was playing "Whose World Is This," and and the pianos and the drums and the whole cadence of that record had me like, yo, this is amazing. I want to make a song.
But Nas, calm and calculated, always waits for the right moment to remind everyone that Jay-Z ain't as untouchable as he wants people to believe. Their back and forth became one of hip-hop's most iconic rivalries. But everything hit another level after Biggie's death. When Big passed in '97, New York was left without a clear king, and suddenly, the entire city was asking one question: who's next to wear the crown? That's when the tension stopped being subtle and turned into an all-out war for dominance. Jay saw himself as the rightful heir. He was dropping consistent hits, working with legends, and stacking his empire brick by brick. Meanwhile, Nas already had the Chosen One title, but his later albums weren't hitting like Illmatic. Critics started whispering that maybe Nas had fallen off. And Jay? He loved that storyline. On Where I'm From, Jay started sneaking in those slick subliminals, crowning himself the new king of New York without ever saying it outright. It was bold, a chess move, but Nas wasn't going for it. He fired back with subtle jabs of his own, like on We Will Survive, where he hinted that Jay was trying too hard to steal Biggie's throne. That line had fans losing their minds. Suddenly, this wasn't just about respect. It was about legacy, ego, and who the city would stand behind. From that moment, it wasn't friendly competition anymore. It was Brooklyn versus Queens, Hustler versus Poet, Jay-Z versus Nas. This war became bigger than music. It was about who really represented New York soul. On one side, Jay, the businessman who turned street hustle into global power. On the other, Nas, the lyrical prophet who gave the city its poetry and pain. And by 2001, that Cold War turned nuclear. Jay had enough of the subliminals and went for the kill. Summer Jam, Takeover. He called Nas out by name, said he only had one classic album, and basically declared his career over. The crowd went crazy. For a moment, it felt like Jay had ended the war before it even started. But then came Ether. And that track wasn't just a diss, it was a demolition. Nas didn't clap back. He carved Jay up line by line. He tore into Jay's image, his credibility, his looks, even his so-called mogul status. It was personal, surgical, and absolutely devastating. When Ether dropped, hip-hop shifted overnight. Suddenly, people weren't saying Jay won. They were saying Jay got bodied. That's how deep it hit. The song was so brutal it changed the culture. Ether literally became slang for destroying someone beyond repair. And that's exactly why this whole casino situation feels like Ether. Part 2. The parallels are wild. Jay, overconfident, talking big, and then Nas slides in quiet, cool, and steals a win with a billion-dollar move that shakes everything up again. History repeating itself in the most poetic way. But of course, Jay didn't take that L lying down. He fired back almost immediately with Super Ugly. Problem was, he didn't keep it lyrical. He went low, bragging about sleeping with the mother of Nas's daughter. He thought it had tipped the scales, but it backfired badly. Fans weren't impressed. Critics said it crossed every line. Even Jay's own mother wasn't having it. She reportedly made him call Hot 97 and apologize live on air. Imagine that. One of the most powerful men in hip-hop, humbled on the radio by his mom. Jay literally said, "I'm sorry for hurting other people involved." Because if he didn't, it was going to get ugly for real. That moment showed everyone that even Jay-Z, the mogul, The king could get checked when ego takes the wheel. That moment told the world loud and clear, Jay had officially crossed a line. From that point on, the energy flipped. People started seeing Jay not as a hero, but as the aggressor, the one throwing punches too hard, while Nas came off as a calm survivor who refused to fold. And that's why this rivalry never really died. Every time Jay tried to bury Nas, Nas found a way to rise again, flipping the narrative and making Jay look like the one reaching. It was poetic. No matter how rich, powerful, or connected Jay got, Nas always reminded the world, you can't erase me. But here's where the story takes a turn nobody saw coming. For years they traded shots, sneaky disses, and tense interviews, until they did the unthinkable. They squashed it, and not behind closed doors, either. No secret meeting, no quiet handshake. They made peace in front of the whole world. It happened in 2005 during Jay-Z's legendary I Declare War concert. The name alone had fans bracing for chaos. Everyone thought Jay was about to start new beefs. But instead, he shocked the planet. He brought Nas out on stage. The crowd went insane. Thousands screaming, cameras flashing, jaws dropping. Two men who once tried to end each other's careers were now standing side by side. They shook hands, performed together, and in that instant, hip-hop froze. It was bigger than music. It was history. The kings of Brooklyn and Queens, once sworn enemies, now united on one stage. And they didn't stop there. They went on to collab on Black Republican and Success, proving that even decades of beef could turn into business. But let's keep it real. That peace came with a side of tension. The handshake was genuine, but the rivalry never left the room. You could always feel it lurking underneath, quiet but alive, like a Cold War hidden behind industry smiles. Because when two kings share one throne, peace only lasts until someone makes the next move. And now, with this casino chaos blowing up, it looks like that truce might have just expired. But here's the real twist. This isn't just Jay versus Nas anymore. It's Queens versus Brooklyn, round 2. If you know New York hip-hop history, you already get how deep that runs. Brooklyn's always had that big stage shine. Jay, Biggie, even the Barclays Center, all about money, power, and luxury. But Queens? That's a borough of grit and grind. The birthplace of LL Cool J, Mobb Deep, Nicki Minaj, and Nas himself. It's the underdog city that builds legends from nothing. So when Jay's glitzy Times Square dream got denied in Manhattan, and Nas turned around and locked in his $5 billion Queens casino deal, the message couldn't have been louder. The street said it plain. Brooklyn fumbled. Queens carried. The symbolism is wild. And for everyone who lived through the Ether era, this feels like deja vu. The same story, same ending, just with higher stakes. This time, it's not about bars. It's about billion-dollar empires. What makes it sting harder for Jay is that this loss isn't just financial, it's personal. Nas just pulled off another public win, right in front of Jay City. Queens is celebrating, Brooklyn's quiet, and you already know Jay's behind closed doors plotting his next move. Because if there's one thing about Hov, he never forgets humiliation. But this battle isn't happening in the booth anymore. It's happening in boardrooms, with contracts, casinos, and corporate chess moves. The MIC's down. But the rivalry? Oh, it's still breathing, just wearing a tailored suit now. So here's the real question. Is this a rebirth of a legendary feud, just in billionaire form? Or is Jay already scheming his next silent revenge play behind the scenes? Either way, one thing's clear. Queens is on top right now, and Brooklyn's pride just took another hit. So what do you think? Is Nas really outplaying Jay again? Or is this just the calm before the next big storm? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and make sure you subscribe, because this saga, it's far from over.